Have you ever felt stuck in the same routine, facing the same problems every day, as if you were living in an infinite loop? Maybe you wake up thinking about the bills that keep piling up, the relationships that drain your energy, or that constant feeling that something is missing in your life. The truth is, many of us are looking at our reality through a foggy lens, focusing only on the problems, the limitations, and what's going wrong. It's as if we're trapped in a vicious cycle where we only see what confirms our frustrations. But what if I told you that the key to completely transforming your life isn't about changing your external circumstances, but about transforming the way you observe the world around you? The power of conscious observation is a revolutionary tool that can rewrite your story. When you learn to shift your focus to the opportunities, to the resources you already possess, and to the solutions that are right in front of you, something magical happens. Your reality literally transforms. Get ready to discover how a simple change in perspective can be the difference between living a life of limitation and creating the extraordinary life you've always dreamed of. Do you believe that reality is something fixed, an unchangeable stage where your life unfolds? That your problems, your limitations, your repetitive patterns are just unfortunate events in an indifferent universe? Allow me to shake that conviction. What if I told you that the very essence of what you call reality is more fluid, more malleable, more intimately connected to your consciousness than you have ever dared to imagine? Imagine, for a moment, a woman. Let's call her Anna. Anna was trapped, not in a cell of bars and concrete, but in an invisible web of repetitive patterns that suffocated her existence. Relationships that began with euphoria and ended in disillusionment, invariably reproducing the same dynamics of abandonment and mistrust. Her bank account, a faithful mirror of her emotions, oscillated between scarcity and a false sense of security, only to plunge back into anxiety. And her emotions? Her emotions were a vicious cycle of frustration, self-sabotage, and a deep sense of powerlessness. She tried everything. She recited positive affirmations, visualized fervently, worked tirelessly, but life, stubbornly, seemed to ignore her efforts, always returning her to the same barren landscape, until one day, exhausted from fighting an invisible enemy, she stopped. She simply stopped. She stopped trying to force things, to control every detail, to desperately cling to an idealized future. Instead, she began to observe herself, her reactions, her thoughts, her emotions, with a stillness and a presence she had never experienced before. She didn't judge, she didn't analyze, she didn't try to fix anything. She just observed, and it was in that silence, in that simple and powerful shift of focus, that the impossible began to happen. Her relationships ceased to be battlegrounds. Her financial prosperity began to flow in unexpected ways. And her inner peace, once an unattainable luxury, became her new home. This is the great promise, the secret truth that quantum physics, in its abstract elegance, has been trying to reveal to us for decades. Reality doesn't happen to you. It happens through your observation. You are not a mere passive spectator, chained to the front row of a predefined show. You are a participatory force, an intrinsic co-creator whose act of seeing is not just a recording, but a shaping of what manifests. Your observation is the brush that colors the canvas of existence, and many of us, without even realizing it, are using the colors of fear and scarcity. To understand the depth of this, we need to dive into the deep waters of one of the most enigmatic and revolutionary experiments in science, the double slit experiment. Imagine we have a barrier with two slits and we are firing tiny particles, like electrons, towards it. Behind the barrier, a detector screen records where these particles land. What would we expect? That they would pass through one slit or the other, creating two distinct bands on the detector, right? Like tiny marbles thrown against a wall with two holes. But reality, my friends, is far stranger and more fascinating than our intuition allows us to conceive. When these particles are not observed, when there's no mechanism to determine which slit they are passing through, they behave like waves. Waves that spread out, collide, and create an interference pattern on the detector, just like ripples in water meet and overlap. They are, in a sense, passing through both slits at the same time, existing in a superposition of all possibilities. It's as if the very fabric of existence is in a state of indecision, a field of pure, unlimited potential. However, herein lies the central paradox, the twist that shocked the greatest scientists of the 20th century and opens the door to understanding our own quantum consciousness. What happens if we decide to observe which slit the particle goes through? If we place a tiny detector to register its path, the magic vanishes. The particles suddenly decide on one slit or the other. They collapse from their wave-like state of all possibilities to become, well, particles. They behave like tiny marbles again, creating two distinct bands on the detector, just as we initially expected. The act of looking, the act of measuring, the act of observing transforms a wave of infinite possibilities into a single, measurable outcome. It turns potential into form, the invisible into the visible, the abstract into the concrete. It's as if the universe is waiting for your gaze to decide what it will become. This is not a poetic metaphor, but a quantum mechanic, a fundamental principle that governs the very composition of existence at its most basic level. Now take a moment and a deep breath. If your mind is buzzing with the magnitude of this revelation, I invite you to leave your impressions in the comments below. What word resonates most strongly with you after hearing about the observer effect? Share a term, a reflection, or what you're feeling. Your participation enriches this field of knowledge we are building together. The practical lesson, then, emerges with crystal clarity. Observation in your daily life functions analogously to measurement in a laboratory. Your attention is not passive. It condenses the infinite possibilities of the universe into the reality you experience. What you choose to look at, and more importantly, how you choose to look, is what determines what will manifest in your life. Digging deeper into the problem, we realize that most people live in a vicious cycle, unconsciously recreating the same life, the same challenges, the same limitations, not because the universe is punitive, but because they are observing through clouded filters. Filters shaped by past traumas, by beliefs inherited from previous generations, by cultural conditioning that tells us who we should be and what we can have. It is these filters that project a repeated reality, an endless loop of what they already know. Every thought you entertain, every judgment you form, every expectation you carry is an act of observation, and the energy with which you imbue that observation is what dictates the form of the collapse. When you observe with a strong emotional energy of fear, shame, mistrust, or lack, you are, in fact, destroying the versions of reality that would correspond to a higher frequency. With your attention focused on what you fear, you are collapsing precisely what you do not want. Think about it. If you check your finances with a tense reaction based on a lack of resources, you are, with that anxiety-laden observation, magnetizing timelines of financial stress. It's not a punishment, it's a vibrational match. Similarly, in relationships, a past abandonment can encode a pattern in your nervous system. Even with a conscious desire for love, the underlying energy of suspicion reduces reality to the confirmation of that fear. It's a loop. The observation generates a reality. That reality reinforces the emotion. That emotion strengthens the observation. And the loop continues endlessly. But the inverse is equally true. And herein lies the overwhelming empowerment. When you observe from a state of peace, love, expansion, gratitude, and mindfulness, you collapse more expansive timelines. The quantum field, this sea of infinite possibilities, always offers options. You only receive the version that your observation matches. It's like tuning a radio. The music is there, but you only hear it when you tune to the correct frequency. This isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. Your attention is creative, an active force in the universe. Change your attention, clean your lens, and you will change what becomes possible. You're not creating from nothing. You are observing with precision. So, why do most people feel stuck? Why do conventional manifestation practices, like isolated affirmations and meditations, often fail to produce the desired results? Because they are often superficial. The field doesn't respond to empty words or desperate attempts to force an outcome. It responds to your dominant vibration, your emotional baseline, the way you observe when no one is looking, when you are in your most authentic state and not performing for the universe. The crucial question is, what part of you is observing this moment? Is it the wounded inner child, clinging to fear and scarcity? Or is it the embodied self, rooted in possibility and sovereignty? The people and situations you attract are a faithful reflection of your dominant signal. Your body, your circumstances, everything reflects the inner observer. Shifting your observation to the frequency of your future self, the self who already has what you desire, opens new pathways that were present as probabilities all along. The failure to manifest is not a failure of the universe, but the faithful collapse of a reality that matches your dominant emotional blueprint. Recognizing this is not a condemnation, it is a liberation. If you are absorbing these truths and feeling the power of transformation, a simple gesture can amplify your own energy and the message of this channel. Hit the like button on this video. It's a small act of conscious observation that helps expand this wisdom. How then do you break the cycle? How do you stop being a passive observer of repetition and become an active observer of conscious creation? You break the cycles not by fighting them, not by trying harder, but by observing differently. The first step is an act of deep introspection. Start by observing what you are observing. Ask yourself, with brutal honesty, is my current observation destroying the reality I want, or is it collapsing the one I fear? This question is a master key to your freedom. Next, change the frequency, the quality of your attention, not necessarily your actions, but your way of looking. Observe with love, with trust, with a sense of expansive possibility instead of defense, projection, or lack. Healing, in this context, is cleaning the lens. It's removing the traumas, the inherited beliefs, the old identities that cloud your perception and distort your ability to see the infinite possibilities the quantum field offers. Don't try harder. See deeper. Here are some short, concrete practices to begin changing your observation. These are not complex rituals, but fine-tunings for your consciousness. Find a quiet place. Sit down and allow your spine to lengthen naturally, without tension, as if a subtle thread were gently pulling the top of your head toward the sky. Relax your shoulders. Feel the base of your body grounded. Place one hand on your heart and the other on your belly. We call these centers of emotional frequency, the core of your inner truth, where energy flows unhindered by the mind. Now breathe. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling the air fill your abdomen and your chest. Hold for a moment, allowing the energy to settle. Then, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, releasing any tension, any expectation. Repeat this cycle a few times, feeling the stillness settle into your being. Bring to your awareness a challenge, a question, or a desire that has not yet manifested in your life. Don't force it, just allow it to arise. And then, observe how you are looking at it. Is it with fear, with impatience, with doubt, with frustration? Feel the energetic shape of that gaze. Notice the tension in your body, the tightness in your chest, the weight on your mind. This is the frequency you're emitting, the lens through which you are observing. Now, begin to imagine the situation as if you were already your future self, the self who already has the desired outcome, the self who lives in abundance, who is in a healthy relationship, who experiences inner peace. Hold this observation calmly, without forcing the outcome, without trying to control how it will happen. Just feel the emotion of that future self, the certainty, the gratitude. Be a constant observer of this state. Calm, present, certain. Let the field feel the energetic shift in you. Write down your intentions and observations. Digital or written words also encode frequency. The act of writing can be a powerful part of your observation practice. It's a way of externalizing and solidifying the frequency you wish to emit. And in your day-to-day life, when a trigger arises, when the old story tries to take over, practice this internal reframing phrase. I see this. I feel this. But I don't have to become this. It creates a sacred space between the trigger and your reaction, allowing you to choose your observation instead of being dragged away by the inertia of the old pattern. It's crucial to understand. Observing differently is not passivity. It is precision. Reactive observation, the kind shaped by fear and trauma, merges you with the trigger, making you part of the old story. Precise observation, however, maintains your sovereignty. It allows you to influence the field differently without getting entangled in old energies. The field responds to vibrational coherence, to your emotional baseline, not to desperate attempts to manipulate the outcome. The power lies in what you allow, not in what you fix. If this conversation is igniting a new understanding in you, if it's transforming how you see yourself and the world, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Together, we will continue to unravel the secrets of existence and explore the limitless power that resides in each of us. Many people ask me why, even after years of manifestation practices, they don't see the results they desire. The answer lies precisely in what we've just explored. Affirmations, visualizations, and meditations are very powerful tools, but they are often used on the surface, like a veneer over an old, cracked structure. The field, the quantum universe, responds to your dominant vibration, that default frequency encoded by habit and unconscious observation. This energetic baseline is what dictates your reality, and it overrides isolated practices unless that baseline is fundamentally altered. It's not what you say that matters as much as what you feel and believe as you say it. And what you feel and believe is a direct reflection of how you observe. If your words affirm abundance, but your internal observation is fixed on scarcity and fear, the vibrational coherence is broken, and the field responds to your dominant vibration, which is scarcity. Ask yourself again, what part of me is observing this moment? Is it your inner child, still trapped in the stories of the past and unfulfilled needs? Or is it your embodied self, your soul, your spirit, that knows it is limitless and capable of creating? The people and situations you attract into your life, and even the condition of your body, are mirrors of your dominant frequency, of the inner observer that dwells within you. Shifting your observation to the frequency of your future self, the self who already lives the desired reality, is not a fantasy. It is an act of attunement. It's opening yourself to new paths, new possibilities that were present as probabilities all along, but couldn't collapse into your reality because your lens was set to another frequency. The so-called failure to manifest is not a failure of the universe or of you. It is, in fact, the faithful collapse of a reality that corresponds to your emotional and observational blueprint. Recognizing this mechanic, this responsibility, is the first step toward true liberation. When you can consistently observe from a higher frequency with the clarity of a clean lens, timelines begin to reorganize in an almost magical way. The right people appear in your life, innovative ideas flow, opportunities you never imagined materialize. Manifestations accelerate not through Herculean effort, but through vibrational resonance. The power doesn't lie in what you try to fix or control, but in what you allow to unfold from a new and elevated frequency of observation. The more you can sit in silence, the more you can witness your own thoughts and emotions without merging with them, without being carried away by them. The more the field, the quantum universe, shifts to match your internal coherence. It's a mechanic, my friends, not magic. A quantum mechanic by analogy. Observation combined with coherent emotional frequency results in a predictable response in the field of all possibilities. Don't view delays or closed doors as rejections. See them as signals. Signals that perhaps there is a vibrational refinement to be made, an adjustment to your observational lens. The universe doesn't deny you, it responds to you. Let's briefly re-enter the practice. Sit again, with your spine lengthened, hands on your heart and belly. Breathe slowly and deeply. Let a desire, a longing, a challenge arise in your consciousness without force. Observe how you observe it. Now, Gently practice imagining and holding the observation of your future self. Feel the difference in your body, in your mind. Feel the calm, the certainty, the gratitude. Feel the emotion of the desired outcome as if it were already real. Then release control of the how. Rest in this state of the serene observer. The repetition of this precise witnessing is what will change your internal baseline. It's what will rewrite your vibrational code. Always remember, your observation is always creative. You can no longer treat your attention as something neutral. The way you see determines what appears now. To see without the old stories, without the ingrained judgments, without the panic of past lacks, is the essential skill of the new era, the superpower you've always had, but perhaps never dared to use with full awareness. The field responds to vibrational precision, to emotional alignment, to calm and centered presence, not to pressure or desperation. It's not about wanting something with all your might, but about being the frequency of what you desire. The essential step is this: change the way you look, clean the lens, choose to observe with courage, choose to observe with wisdom, choose to observe with love. You are not just a character in the script of your life. You are the consciousness that is writing your life, one observation at a time. If you've made it this far, if these words have resonated in your soul, then you are part of a community of seekers who long for more. Share this video with someone you know who needs to hear this message. Spread this light, this new way of seeing the world. And now, the question that destiny whispers to you. If you are the observer who collapses reality, what will be your next great observation? Think about it. With the deepest gratitude for your presence and for your courage to look closer at the mystery of existence, I bid you farewell, certain that the power is always in your hands and in your vibration. Until the next video,